All right, we are here for our UMAC men's soccer season preview interview with Greg Gilmore, head men's soccer coach at Northland College. Greg is in his second year as the head coach, and in his first year led the Lumberjacks to a conference playoff appearance, and I'm sure was looking forward to another one this year until COVID hit. So definitely looking at a unique spring. So we're excited to talk to Greg about that and his program here. So Greg, thanks for joining us today. Can you start off just talking a little bit about what does it mean to your team after such a long pause to finally be able to have the prospect of competition this spring, even if it is a little bit different than we're used to?
Right now, first, thanks for having me. But right now, I'd imagine I can speak for a lot of coaches out there. We're just ecstatic to be back on the field. The guys are just excited to be playing again. When you look around kind of the entire landscape, I think we're pretty lucky. There's plenty of leagues, especially out in the Northeast, where they're not even giving it a go. So the fact that, we have a scrimmage with Scholastica on Saturday, Tuesday we're playing Superior, like we're 7 days away, 5 days away from this stuff. We're just really happy. I think it means a lot to the student athletes. It's a small step towards a return to normalcy. And in terms of kind of what we did last year, we're just really excited to hopefully take the next step.
Yeah, I think it's hard when you have momentum and have kind of a pause. So maybe talk a little bit about what was the fall like and how did you manage to keep the team motivated and kind of keep some of that momentum going that you had from the previous season, even though you weren't competing?
So the fall was really interesting because it kind of just felt like week to week, we really never knew what was going to happen. In the summer, we still thought we were going to play conference games. And then early August, we thought there was a chance. And then everyone knows what happened in August. So it was kind of up until the last moment, we were preparing for games. But I think with the guys we have right now and with a lot of the work we've done over the last 18, 24 months, I think our guys have been honestly motivated the entire time. I don't think it's really held us back as much as I expected. Last year was, the first time I think this program competed in a UMAC playoff, and our guys have not forgotten that. We certainly haven't forgotten the taste of how our playoff game went. So it's been a lot of excitement right now. It's almost been, I think, 13 months at this point of just constant excitement, and we're just really excited to kind of finally let some of that out over the next few days and coming weeks.
Yeah, I think that everybody is kind of looking forward to that. And I think it's hard when you do have that momentum and to try and, build on that, especially we will have a tournament and championships. So there is that to play for, but it definitely looks and feels a little bit different. But, I think everyone is excited. But what have some of the challenges been and how do you think your team has been able to respond to whatever they've been given, whether it's distance learning, this previous spring, changing class formats, different practice times?
Yeah.
How have they responded to those things?
It's been a lot of changes and adjustments for everyone. For the most part, it's been a little bit of a learning curve. With our program, we talk about sacrifice. Even before COVID, student athletes have to make sacrifices that just students don't often have to make with their social lives, their priorities, their time management. And with kind of COVID and the adjustments people have had to make, like that term sacrifice now is just more important than ever. And like I said, there's been a lot of adjustments. It's been a learning curve, but we keep reminding our guys when we look back at kind of what we did last year, it was a first for the program. There's still so many more firsts that these guys can accomplish. There's a lot of history these guys can make. And so we talk a lot about risk reward when it comes to the sacrifices we're making for our community, for our program. And I think our guys have really bought in. The classroom stuff, I feel for all the students across the country at this point. I'm not the biggest online learner myself. I can't even really imagine making some of the sacrifices and changes these guys have made. But, last semester we posted the highest GPA since I got here. So I think our guys have kind of rose to the challenge, and it's just, again, makes us more excited for the future.
Yeah, I think I've heard from a lot of coaches that this generation of student athletes really has a lot of resiliency, and I think they continue to show that. And it's exciting that they're finally going to get rewarded to be able to compete. So
They've earned
Kind
it.
of, yeah, kind of to wrap up then, what are you looking most forward to about this spring and the opportunities to be able to see your guys compete and, get back into, you know, competition with conference schools? What are you looking forward to about that?
I think there's kind of two parts to that. The first part is I'm just looking for the first time when it's an 11v11 setting and it's not one of my assistant coaches on the other sideline and the other bench. And I'm really looking forward to different jerseys that don't have our logo on them when we're playing a game. And I think once that happens, I think kind of the regular adrenaline of competition in the UMAC will kick in. But for that first time, I'm just excited to see two different teams out there. As far as the season as a whole, we're just looking to build off of what we accomplished last year. We'd really like to continue to work our way into the top half of the league and start competing with teams that have kind of been at the top for the last couple of years. So that's our goal. That's what our guys want. And I think most of our guys are just excited. And also they realize that this is a pretty big opportunity. Everyone saw what happened to spring sports last year. So every game counts. Every game means something. And I don't think anyone's going to take anything for granted this year.
Yeah, I think that we're all really looking forward to seeing other teams competing
Yeah.
against other teams and less of the scrimmages with masks on and those types of things. So I'm really glad that we could talk about this and hear about your program and really look forward to seeing your team and all of our UMAC teams competing this spring. So Greg, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.